Yo, what it do, family? This your boy, Drop the Mic, coming to you live from Dallas, Texas, bringing you some information, inspiration, illumination, revelation, where we'll bring you lifetime application. You dig? So listen, today I want to talk about communication. What I've discovered is, including myself as a man, I don't have enough time to communicate. Honestly, it seems like the women have so much time and so many words to say to us. I really don't have enough time to communicate. So as a man, I discovered this issue within my life. And I discovered that I wasn't communicating because I didn't know how to properly articulate the thoughts that were within my head. Therefore, what happens is the person cannot understand how I feel. Then you have another separate issue. The definition of communication is simply read by Webster. They said it's the imparting or exchanging of information or news. And many times, brothers and sisters, we don't impart and exchange the information or news correctly, with clarity and understanding. And what happens is when we don't do that, things, as the roots would say, things seem to fall apart. And we have to get beyond that point where we can effectively communicate with one another. Because the only way that we can really be effective in a relationship is through good, honest, clear, understanding communication that has depth. You know what's funny is a lot of times we communicate, but it's on a shallow surface level, which doesn't help anybody any. So here's what I want. Here's the thing that I want to say. Here's the thing that I want to impart. Here's the thing that I want to do. Baby girl, what are you doing? Yo, here's the thing that I want to say. Here's the thing that I want to do. I want to give you some information that will help you communicate clearly with the person that you're in a relationship with. And also, I got some good information for marriage folks too, especially those who are just starting out. So stay tuned. I want to really impart this information to you. The first thing I want to impart is we have to be clear that when we're communicating that we don't underinvest nor overinvest. We have to find that median in the relationship that complements the relationship, and then give the information via that median. What happens sometimes is we say all the wrong things, that the right things are being missed, or we're saying too much of the right that is coming across in a wrong way. So we want to make sure that we are communicating clearly with depth and understanding and clarity. I think that's a very key rule. Here's another thing that will help you in the area of communication. But before I even say that, yo, I gotta say this. Somebody checked me. It was funny. It was like 2 days ago. A friend of mine was on the phone, and I've been friends with this person for a minute. They just basically told me, I hear you talking, but it's really on a surface level. Wow, I was like, I'm telling you how I feel. No, I was really telling her how I felt, or telling that person how I felt in a way that I didn't want to display how I really felt, because I wanted to save face, or I didn't want to track down that road. Because sometimes in communication, there's some places we don't want to go. We don't want to talk about. Some things that have been sitting within us for years upon years. We don't want anybody to know about it. How can I connect with you if you won't let me in on a communication scale? You know, also what's funny is many people will communicate physically, but won't communicate mentally. Dig that? How? What am I saying? We're so quick now to give up the goods and give up the physical that we tend to miss out on the mental. You know, I've met a lot of women. I've encountered a lot of brothers and sisters, and let me tell you, many of them are more quick to give up the goods than to give up the mental thoughts that's within their heads. Wow. How does that feel? That I will give you my body, before I would give you my mind. Doesn't add up. So we have to stop that frame of thinking. I think we should take the rule, subtraction, and addition approach to communication. We need to speak what adds to one's life and leave out what subtracts from it. Because oftentimes the subtraction can destroy the conversation and dilute the message by which you're trying to portray. But the real addition will add to their life even if it hurts. So here's a couple of things I want to share with you today about communication. Number one, keep your word in communication. I think sometimes we as human beings make mistakes and we don't effectively keep our words. I think keeping your word is important in communication. Keep that word. If you can't keep your word, listen, honestly, go back and say, you know what? Unfortunately, I'm unable to deliver. A person will respect you a whole lot more if you were just upfront with them instead of waiting to the last freaking minute and then they're stuck with your piece of communication that now is not really communication, it's a lie because you didn't follow through. Communication works in various ways. Communication, interpretation, follow through. And we miss it right there. Some of us can't even interpret correctly and then get to the follow through. We've totally missed the whole thing. So that's first thing. Number one, be intentional. Be very intentional. Be very on purpose with what you're trying to communicate so that a person can understand you with depth and clarity. I think that's so key because if I want you in my life, I need to be intentional about letting you know I want you in my life. Otherwise, you just cool. I'm not trying to pressure you. Just can't stop thinking about you. You ain't even gotta be my girlfriend. I just wanna know your name and maybe sometime we can hook up, hang out, and just chill. We just cool. Alright, next thing. Be creative. There's nothing wrong with being creative in the conversation. You don't have to lie to be creative. Be creative. You know, tell a person, you know, play the role. You know, call, say, hey, this such and such, I'm trying to deliver such and such. You know, be creative by with your mode of communication. Especially if it's something of a playful and you're trying to date someone. Be creative. Change the game up. Nobody wants the monotony. Change it up a little. You know, disguise your voice. Be somebody else. It's all right to do a little role play in positive communication. Now, in a negative sense, you can't be creative. You have to be straightforward with a straight line. Okay? The next thing is enjoy the ebb and flow of the communication. My friend, she says that a great deal, ebb and flow. Enjoy the ebb and flow of the communication. Because after a while, it takes up your time. It takes up your energy. It adds to your life. It is positive. It is a force. It is something that is grand and great. And it's actually a lost art. With text messaging and Facebook and email, yo, you're doing good to get a phone call that lasts longer than 5 minutes. I'm guilty of that myself. So we have to do better. And to really communicate effectively with people. Lastly, be loving, respectful, and patient. Sometimes I think when we communicate, we're looking for instant gratification and results. And sometimes every conversation is not built that way. Oftentimes we should set the spread of the table. Allow the person to eat the tiny morsels. And then when they're ready to share, they will. All right, lastly, here's what I want to share. For those who are getting married, there's a certain rule. I think this works actually. It could work for those who are dating as well. Son, give me a second, okay?
Okay.
Or if you come in, you have to sit over here.
Okay, Daddy.
What's up?
Can I play at the Zari?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what we see is, in this level of communication, we have to be loving and respectful and patient. But it's something I want to share with you. It's actually that's in the book of Deuteronomy, and it's in what psychologists would call this that are doing Christian counseling. They would say that this is a 24 and 5 rule. What does that mean? Scripture would say Then for those who are married or just recently getting married or thinking about getting married, consider this text. It says, Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 5. It says, when a man hath taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war. That means out to work, out to do anything, any of that. Neither shall he be charged with any business. That means he shouldn't create, he shouldn't add to, he shouldn't have new business. Okay? But he shall be free at his home for 1 year. Wow. Think about it. If you could communicate with your spouse or your potential spouse for 1 year alone by yourself, how much depth, understanding, how much charge that would have to your life. Well, look at what else this text says. It says, he shall be free at home for 1 year, and he shall cheer up his wife, which he had taken. So that means that he should be a builder of his wife, a builder of his home. And he should, you got to take care of your business, but you also got to take care of home. And this text simply displays that home comes first. So those of y'all who are considering getting married, considering being in a relationship that's long-term and going to the next level, this is a facet of it that will go into it. So let's recap. First thing is, if you're going to communicate, keep your word in communication. Be open, be honest, and keep your word. That's very important. That's integral. That adds character and integrity to your conversation. Don't miss that. You have to be intentional. Be intentional with the message by which you're trying to portray, whether it's good or bad. Be creative, especially if it's somebody you're trying to date. Be creative. Change the game up. People don't like the monotony. They love creative individuals. Have fun. Enjoy the time of communication. Enjoy the ebb and flow. It'll bless your life. Lastly, be respectful and patient. Communication takes time. Communication is the foundation that builds the home of life. And if you're truly wanting to communicate, you have to establish a solid foundation. If you don't establish a solid foundation, all you will have is shaky relationships, because the foundation of communication was not established. That's what's up. Yo, this your boy, Drop the Mic, coming from Dallas, Texas. Want to tell you, get in the flow. If you can't get in the flow, drop the mic. Yo, this Alice Taylor's second son saying life's too short to play games. Get in the flow. And if you can't get in the flow, drop the mic.